Welcome to the Sounds of You with saxophonist Jamal Riley. In today's tutorial, I'm going to be covering Who's Holding Donna Now by DeBarge. Now, this song is actually pretty cool. It sounds pretty simple just listening to it, but it does have its challenges. So, for instance, the concert key for this song, the key starts out in the key of B, which is going to put us alto saxophone players in the key of A flat. A flat is not a very friendly key for, I guess you say, beginners or even some intermediates, but it's nothing we can't handle, okay? So it starts off in B, the verse is in B, then you have the chorus. The chorus is actually in A flat. Now the transition between the two keys is so subtle. If you're just listening to it, I'll be honest with you, I probably, if I was just enjoying the song, well, I'll be honest with you, my first time listening to it, I was just enjoying the song and I didn't notice that it swapped keys. I didn't even notice. But it does. The verse is in the concert key of B, and the chorus is in the concert key of A flat, which is actually a little more friendly for us. So we're starting out in the saxophone key of A flat, and then we go to the saxophone key of, or alto saxophone key of F. So that's a nice transition for us. The chorus is going to be a lot easier for us, and it's in a much better range. And at the end of the song, it does modulate, and we'll be ending out on concert E flat, which is going to be our alto saxophone key of C. So we got three keys to work with. So it would be to your best advantage to familiarize yourself with the key of B, aka with a concert B, which is the saxophone key of A flat. I trust by now you probably already have concert A flat, which is our F, and concert E flat, which is our C. I trust you have the latter two under your belts. It's that first key that's going to be a little rough. And it's not in the most friendliest of ranges. And also something else about this song, we're gonna use, for the most part, the entirety of the normal saxophone range. Our lowest note is going to be that low C. And as far as the meat of the song, I think our highest note may be like an A. But I got a bonus part for you, which I originally wasn't going to do, but I'm going to do it. The bonus part, it takes you all the way up to the high F, the highest F, your palm F, okay? So, let's get to it. Alright, so, here we go. Verse 1. I know that sounds pretty simple, but when I put the notes to it, we're actually starting off pretty low. Our first note is that low C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and your bottom right pinky. Now, some of us know that note can be a little challenging to get to come out, especially if you want it to be the first note of your phrase. So it's a little difficult playing a smooth phrase starting on that note. You can end on that note a lot easier than you can to start on that note. So, like I always recommend, now keep in mind we are in the key of saxophone key of A flat, so I would walk down to it. So let's start maybe 4 notes above. Let's start on maybe F, E flat, D flat, C. So I would recommend doing that, or if you can't do that, I would walk down to it. And see, really, we should be able to get E flat out fairly easily. So you probably start on E flat for air conservation, because of course our lower notes do take more air. So also remember, we got to keep a low, open syllable, a low tongue position when we're playing lower notes. So remember, you may have seen in my other videos, or if this is your first time watching any of my videos, you may have heard me say aw versus E. E, aw. E, your tongue is in a high position. Aw, your tongue is in a low position. So you want to use a good open bottom tongue position when you're trying to play lower notes. Your tongue position does matter when it comes to note production. Unlike piano and guitar players, if I say play E flat, they pluck a string or press a key and boom, there's E flat. But on the saxophone, if I say play a certain note, or any wind instrument for that matter, your wind support, your air support rather, your air support for whatever note I'm speaking about plays a factor. You can have the right fingering all day, but if you don't have the correct air support, it's not going to come out. Okay, so make sure you work on your air support when attempting this, because that's the only way you're going to make this through. Okay, so here we go. First line again. Okay, so also another transition is you're going from that low C to that E flat. So you have to practice that right there. I'll be honest with you, that's not a very common transition for me either. It also depends on how your saxophone is adjusted as well. So make sure you get that right pinky motion correct. You could get away with because, well, I'm getting ahead of myself. So when you go back down to low C, you got a D flat. Now, of course, I'm saying D flat. What I'm using is called diatonic speaking. Diatonic speaking. Reason why? Because I know we usually think of C. Well, D flat is C sharp, but in the key of A flat is actually more appropriate, and actually, for the sake of fluidity, if you will, of speaking, is actually best to be recognized by enharmonic name. So I'm not going to be saying the word C sharp at all in this video. I'm going to be saying D flat. Okay. So please, 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 it would be to your best advantage to get familiar with that term if you're not already familiar with it. Okay. So so we have that first line. Take some time, work it out. Let's keep on moving. Next line isn't any easier. Second line, verse 1, line 2. Alright, so this line is very, very similar to the first line, except it adds an extra note. Okay, so we add a B flat in there. So in this particular key, of course we normally use our default B flat is 1, 2, and 1 on the side. So in this particular key, A flat, this is where you want to use bis B flat, 1, and you have that little guy right there. Remember, we're not going to use our second finger. We're not going to, matter of fact, let me get a little closer. Remember, when you're playing bis B flat, we're not going to use our second finger to play that guy. We're going to rock that first finger down right there. So your fingers stay there. So the benefit of using bis B flat in this particular key is it aids the transitions between G and B flat and A flat and B flat versus doing this right here. Or this right here. A flat, B flat, G. You got G, B flat, G, B flat, G flat. You know what I'm saying? So it actually aids that transition. It makes you a smoother transition. Anytime you can use less keys to get something accomplished, it's gonna make it smoother, okay? And of course, especially with this song is very legato. So very legato, very sweet. We want to try to make this as easy as possible. Okay, so I'm gonna play it one more time. Verse 1, line 2. Now I wasn't able to drop down to that C. If you need to take a quick breath right there, you can get away with it. But just be sure not to honk it. I'm going to try that one more time, just for example's sake. I still couldn't quite pull it off. So you may, even if you don't take a breath right there, you may have to tongue that C if you can't legato down to it, if you can't slur down to it. Slur down to it is the end goal, but if you can't make it, feel free to tongue it. So I didn't quite honk it that time, but I got it out smoother that time. One more time. This time I'm gonna try to slur it down. So I need to take a bigger breath at the beginning. So that time I was able to do it. So your initial breath. So we gotta have enough breath to land 2 C's. And to believe it or not, that second C is a little harder to hit than that first C because it's such a big fall. We're going all the way from A flat down to a C. Those notes are not, now if it was E flat to C it'd be a lot easier, or D flat to C it'd be a lot easier. But we're going from A flat to C, so that's quite a fall, okay? For a legato passage at the bottom of the saxophone, okay? All right, here we go. Line 3, verse 1, line 3. So this line is a little bit easier. Again, we got MD B flat, right? Of course, no C sharp, D flat. So we start right in the middle. Middle, D flat. Open. Okay? So we got a little moment of relief right here by not playing so low. So here we go, third line. So if you're familiar with this scale, that was a breeze. If not, take some time, work it out. Like I said, to position yourself to be to put yourself in the best position to be successful, I would heavily recommend getting these scales under your fingers as best as possible. Okay, as best as possible. All you can do is do your best. So here we go. Line 3 one more time. So again, make sure we're playing that bis B flat, okay? Bis B flat. Remember, rock your first finger down. Also, when I'm playing, sometimes when I'm getting ready to play a bis B flat, I'll go ahead and move this first finger down preemptively. Don't try to move it down when it's time to do it, because keep in mind, these two fingers are coming up. And as you know, when these two fingers come up, so does this guy. So it's kind of hard to try to move your finger over that key while it's coming up. So sometimes I may already have my finger there halfway. So that's a better way of executing that, okay? So one more time, line 3. Line 4. Line 4 is very similar. So it's very similar, right? I think that was pretty easy. Take a minute if you need some time to work it out. If not, let's keep moving. Line 5, verse 1. Pretty easy. All right, so let's keep moving. Chorus, line 1. Very easy. So now at this point, we're in the key of A flat, concert key of A flat. So we're now in saxophone key of F. So this part is going to be a lot easier than the first part. So here we go. We're starting right there on that low F. Now, it goes without saying, because this is our breath of fresh air in a better key, remember, no A flats, guys. We got A naturals now. So that was the first line. One more time. So here we go. Line 2, very similar. Here we go. Third line, here we go. So line 3, notice I have that plus by the G. That plus is a grace note. And the reason I have it notated like that is because basically we're just playing A flat right there. And so in essence, by just pressing your pinky key once, you're actually getting two notes. So instead of going, it's kind of just a little, it's just a little color to it. You don't have to do that, but you probably want to. But, no pressure. Line 3 again. Easy, easy, right? All right, so line 4. Line 5. Line 6. So line 6 is just like line 3, except instead of playing F before the G, you're playing A before the G. So the chorus is pretty easy. Look how easy how fast we went through that. Not that our goal is to be fast per se. Of course, we want to be efficient, accurate. But the chorus is substantially better, not better, but easier than the verse. But guess what? Verse 2 follows the pattern of verse 1. So this time should be a little easier, because if we knocked out verse 1, verse 2 should be all that much easier, because we are familiar with this, okay? So here we go. Verse 2, line 1. Remember, take enough air for that second low C. All right. Line 2. Same as before. Line 3. We've heard all this before. Let's keep it moving. Line 4. Alright, got that E flat in there. Line 5. So what I did there, as you see, I now have pluses beside the C. So all that I'm doing is coming up to D flat. That's all I'm doing. That's easy, right? It's very subtle, but you know, he just kind of does it a little bit, okay? All right, so let's keep it moving. Chorus number 2. But you know what? I don't think I feel like teaching chorus number 2. Why? Because you already know it. The second chorus is exactly the same as the first chorus, okay? So go back to your notes on chorus 1 and play it again, and there you have it. So we're saving time because we already know that part. All right, here we go. Chorus number 3. Now the funny thing about chorus number 3 is I almost said it was exactly like the first 2, except there's one slight difference. It does fairly sound like the first 2, except we're in a different key now. So the first two choruses are in the saxophone key of F, which is concert A flat. So now we're in the saxophone key of G, which is concert B flat. So I'm going to teach this chorus again, except this time in a different key. So it's actually going to be easier because who doesn't love concert B flat, right? So let's keep it moving. Chorus number 3, line 1. Here we go. Easy, right? Chorus 3, line 2. All right, chorus 3, line 3. So we have the same thing that we had earlier. Now notice I got that plus on that A. So this time, instead of going from G to the and pressing your pinky key, this time we're on A, and we're just going to use this guy, our normal B flat key. We wouldn't use this here. We will use our default B flat because it is better for this particular situation. So one more time. All right. So next we got line 4. Which is, as we see, the same as the first line. So let's keep moving. Line 5 has one note difference. Line 5. So we got that D in there now. Okay? Sounds very familiar, right? Just feels a little different, right? Okay. Chorus 3, line 6. So that's chorus number 3. So I'm pretty sure everybody else has already noticed that, you know, if you want to keep it basic, you can play what we just previously did. So if you want to add a little more to it, what we could do is DeBarge is actually singing some ad-libs over the top of chorus 3. Let's get into these ad-libs, all right? So if you're feeling good about the first chord, about the base of the chorus, great. Let's do it. Here we go. So we do a little something like this. The background does something, and then he responds. So we're starting on a high A. So we haven't played this high the entire song. Now we're getting somewhere, okay? Take your time with that. So after line 2, he doesn't say anything, but he comes back in line 3. So we're gonna start with "There's Nothing I Wouldn't Do." Line 3. He goes. So he does that on O. He says the word O. So line 4, it goes. So after the fourth line. So now line 5, he doesn't say anything. What magic can be found after that line? Line 6, he doesn't say anything. So now it brings us to line 7. Line 7. He says, I can't get Donna off my mind. Okay, so watch that that E flat right there. But at the end of it, it goes to E natural. So these are not both flat. It's not a typo. E flat, the first one, E natural, the second one, okay? So, and then for the last line, he repeats what he did in his initial ad-lib on the first line, line 8. He does that as the song fades out. So guys, that's the entire song. So if you hung in with me this far, I got a treat for you, okay? So, we've covered the song, we've covered it from the leader perspective, and we've covered it from the, of course, the chorus, okay? So, and we got the extra stuff on the third chorus. Now, here's something I originally was going to leave out, but I'm going to show it to you in case you want to endeavor it. I don't want you to wonder. So, I want to teach you the synth solo between the second chorus and the third chorus. Now, I will be honest with you, it's pretty, as you can hear, it's pretty fast. But as long as you got a good grip on your scales, as in all things, it's going to be pretty easy. So, I'm going to play it one time through, and then I'm going to take it line by line. So here we go, the synth solo. So let's take that line by line. So the first line is not actually a first line, if you will. It's actually leading in. It's basically a lead into the next line. The musical term here is actually called an anacrusis, and so he just kind of breezes in. So it just kind of does that, and then it lands on the 1. Okay, so here we go. We start right here on middle F. Now noticing I'm calling the F on top of the staff middle F. Let's keep going. So we got that. So what I want now, the difficult thing in this part may be, notice I have a plus on that E flat. Now keep in mind, this is moving pretty fast. Now it's in parentheses because if you don't want to do that, if you just want to play it straight, I like the way it sounds and feels with that plus in there, if you will. So basically I'm going up from an E flat to a E natural. And so how I'm accomplishing this is I'm keeping my fingers on the E flat, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, top right pinky. Only other thing I'm moving is my right ring finger. That's all I'm doing. That's all I'm doing. Matter of fact, I'm only moving it once. I'm not even lifting it all the way up. I'm doing like this. So that's another thing that's going to help you with your technique and your speed. The better you are with your scales, you want to try to keep your fingers as close to the saxophone as possible. I know you see a lot of saxophone players start feeling, they start doing all this, and they start doing all that. It's actually going to slow you down, because if your range of motion is right here, it's easy to clap with this small range of motion versus like this. I can't do this as fast as I can do this. I can't. It's not the same. So it's the same thing with your fingers on the keys. Try to keep your fingers on your pearls. Try to keep your fingers on your pearls. That'll help you move faster in your faster passages. Okay. So one more time. That's that F and that E flat, right? So second line, we're starting on low F. We're not starting on the same middle F. Now also, we're still using bis B flat right here. Okay. All right. So third line, we take it up to the middle F, the F on top of the staff. So we got that plus on that D. All that I'm doing is tapping E flat. That's all I'm doing. Again, you don't have to do that if you don't want to, but if you want to put a little more flavor on it, go ahead and do that. So here, now this part can be a little hard because it's fast, but it's a scale. So all we're doing is again. And of course in real time. Okay, so take your time with that. If you can't tongue that fast, work on singles first. Just really on any note. And just like I mentioned earlier with when we was talking about the lower notes and your production of them, your tongue position matters a lot. When it comes to tonguing, your tongue position matters as well. So what we want to try to aspire for, if we don't know, you want to try to touch the tip of the reed. You want to hit the tip of the tip of the reed with your tongue, okay? So that's how we're going to achieve that. You can't be slapping. You can't be so tense, okay? So work it out slow. Work it out slow. And then, you know, work your speed up. I mean, honestly, you could probably get it because it's smooth anyway, because of the type of synth that it's using. You could actually get away with doing this slurring, I feel. Let me try it. It doesn't sound bad. It does not sound bad to slur that. But of course, if you want to try to be true to the record, I would tongue it. The only thing I'm slurring in that is that B flat to that A. I just stylistically like the way that feels. Okay, so you can slur that B flat to that A, but the rest of it probably sound best if it's tongue. That's just my take on it. You know, I mean, really, when it gets down to it, you're your own musician. I mean, do what best feels for you and what works for you. Okay, all right. So, okay, so let's work this last line. Take a section by section. So, work those individual sections out. Now, when we're playing fast, now of course we know the default high F is all your palm keys, 1, 2, 3, and your top right side, I guess say palm key as well, inside of your hand. So of course we know that's how we finger high F, and we come off of this guy to make that E. But what I find easier to do to play this passage fast, I would use something we call front F and front E. It's an alternative. I'll be honest with you, this is probably my predominant F and E fingering. The alternate, because I play in the altissimo register a lot. And it's an easier transition to get to higher notes ergonomically. And so, you know, so for you who don't know, the extreme high notes on the saxophone are called altissimo, as the altissimo register, altissimo notes. So that's why at the very beginning I said this song uses the majority of the normal saxophone note range. I said normal. So that's outside. It takes you right up to the altissimo point, but don't quite touch it. So but even in this scenario, I use front F. So of course, you know when you're playing say G, right? No, we say C. I mean A. 1, 2, right? So we always, you know, when we first start playing saxophone, we always wonder about this little key right here, right above it. Not the one below, but the one right above it. So this is the time you actually use that guy. You're finally using that key after all these years, right? So we're gonna finger this just like an A, except we're gonna use this key instead of the normal first one. And so that's how we play front F. So this is front F. And front E is basically you play like a G, except again, we're using this top key this time. So, okay. So I'm going to play, say, a F scale going all the way up. Now, tonally, they are a little different, and it takes some time to get used to it. But however, ironically, I have been told, and depending upon my setup, I guess, I really haven't paid much attention lately, but I have been told that my front F and front E and front F sound more natural than my palm E and palm F. That's a little backwards, but that's just the way it is. I've been playing them for so long. But anyway, so let's put it in context now. So what playing front F allows me to do, this keeps me from having to go to F to this one, like this. I mean, if you can accomplish it like that, great, but you don't have to. Or it's less motion. Versus so either way, do what feels comfortable for you, or to you rather. Do what feels comfortable to you. I'm just merely presenting you the options, okay? So guys, if you've hung in there with me this entire song, this entire time, you got the song. We got the verse, which was very challenging because of the key in its range. We got the verse, chorus 1, second verse, chorus number 2. I skipped on the chorus number 3, went back and gave the ad-libs, and if you're feeling real fancy, here's the synth solo, okay? So I hope that you found this tutorial helpful. I enjoyed teaching it. I enjoyed learning the song. I'm just being frank with you. I never heard this song before. I never heard it before, but I have heard of DeBarge. I just hadn't heard this song before, so it was pretty cool. It was a good experience. You know, like I said, just casually listen to the song. I could tell in the end that they swapped keys, but just casually listen to it, I couldn't tell they swapped keys in the beginning. You know, I was just listening. I was just enjoying the song. Now, had I had my analytical hat on, I probably would have caught that. But you know, but I can see how this song could prove a little difficult for someone trying to learn it who may not be as experienced as I am. You know, but either way it go, you're well on your way. And don't if you come across something you can't play, you know, don't beat yourself up about it. It's like I always say, you got to start from somewhere. We all had to start from somewhere. I started from somewhere. You know, I hadn't always been this finished. I wouldn't even dare say finished, but this. I haven't always been able to play at this level. So I thank you guys for reaching out. If you have any more tutorial requests or any comments, any concerns, there's something I wasn't clear on, something you want me to further expound on, feel free to reach out to me. And you know, so like I said, if you have any further questions, please like, share, subscribe with your saxophone friends or anyone else who just enjoys music. And of course, this is the sounds of you. And of course, if you want to, if you just know someone who may just enjoy music, you know, who may like what I have to offer, my main channel is Saxophonist Jamal Riley. That's why I upload my covers or any just performances. But here on the Sounds of You, this is where you'll find my tutorials. Okay, well, the bulk of my tutorials. So, like I said, I enjoyed it, had a blast, and until next time, this is Saxophonist Jamal Riley with the Sounds of You. Peace.